on to Anastasia and her team. Anastasia, are you there? I see your team, but I don't see you. Yes, I see you. Perfect. Okay, Anastasia Raina is joined by the Posthuman Mobility team. She's assistant professor in the graphic design department at the Rhode Island School of Design, and she's a truly multidisciplinary. I don't even know if you want to call yourself artist. She's a truly multidisciplinary thinker in neuroscience, biology, biomaterials, and art. Okay, I see you have your whole team there. Unless you have questions for me, I'll mute myself and let you take it from here.
Thank you, Piero. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us to Stanford Laser Talks. We're really excited to present our work and research with you tonight. My name is Anastasia Raina. I'm an assistant professor at Rhode Island School of Design, and today I'm joined by my research team.
Hi, my name is Pimei Hu, and I'm a BFA student majoring in industrial design jewelry at RISD.
Hello guys, my name is Elena Huang. I am a 6th year graduate student majoring in industrial design at RISD.
Hi, my name's Georgie. I'm an MFA graphic design student at RISD.
Hello, I'm Meredith Bennett, and I graduated from RISD in 2020 in animation.
So during spring 2020, which is almost more than a year ago, our research group was part of the new collaboration between Rhode Island School of Design and Hyundai, the leading automotive company based in Seoul, South Korea. And we were asked to draw inspiration from nature in order to imagine the future of mobility. Among its many consequences, COVID-19 pandemic has exposed serious challenges related to mobility and to our innate desire to move freely through space. So my research group focused on one question, specifically, how will people travel through cities or across national borders post-pandemic? And how do we do this while guaranteeing equitable access to vital mobility innovations while reducing fossil fuel consumption? As the current pandemic has shown us, our human tendency to underestimate the invisible world around us and our unwillingness to change our lifestyle accordingly has rendered millions unprepared, immobile, and isolated, while the coronavirus itself spreads around the world at an unprecedented speed, jumping cross-species boundaries. This is the time to rethink what mobility means in the age of pandemics, and how the distribution of bodies, goods, and information is now carefully choreographed by the invisible microorganisms that move through space with us. Microbial Cosmologies is an immersive project where we imagine a future of mobility that is entirely built around the most successful type of organism on the planet, the microbe. The project addresses the relationship between humans and microbes and our need to adapt and respond with agility to the new world around us and heal the deleterious effects of the pandemic's injustices. We employed speculative design, industrial design, mechanical engineering, augmented reality, virtual reality, and machine learning, and set out to create a world in which humans redefine our relationship with nature, and also that makes space for human, non-human assemblages and develop methods for designing for, with, and around the microbial world around us.
So we started our work at the Nature Lab at the Rhode Island School of Design. It's a really unique space which gives members of the RISD community access to specimens at multiple scales. And it provides us with a platform for examining a myriad of connections between both artistic and scientific study. Our research group focused on the microbiome, the genetic material of all microbes. Whether it lives on the skin of a human, in the gut of a fly, or in the very architecture of the spaces we inhabit, the microbiome is the invisible that connects us across species, both inside and out.
Bacteria are the most abundant organisms in our biosphere, capable of doubling their population in under 10 minutes. They're incredibly diverse and adaptable. Studies have shown that immigrants lose their native gastrointestinal microbes within 6 to 9 months after arriving in the
Audio is breaking up.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Elena?
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll just repeat this slide. Bacteria are the most abundant organisms in our biosphere, capable for doubling their population in under 10 minutes. They're incredibly diverse and adaptable. Study has shown that immigrants lose their native gastrointestinal microbes within 6 to 9 months after arriving in a new country. Can we rethink citizenship and immigration based on our gut microflora? In this microbiopolitical state that we design and speculate on, life is sustained by this vast resource. Energy is generated by microorganisms harvested from the environment, and the waste from the bodies of the citizens is used as a local circular economy. Throughout this project, we use a non-linear design process which work together with the research, creative writing, sketching, and rapid prototyping. Unlike a typical design process, we were researching and making simultaneously. This process allows us the opportunity to challenge and test concepts early and often. No idea is too precious to be challenged, not too trivial to be overlooked. By adapting design processes from our perspective disciplines, we developed our own unique way of working as a team where we were able to benefit from one another's strengths. We have borrowed elements of industrial design, graphic design, and animation discipline to build a new design method which works in flux with our own individual expertise. Our project also transform and adapt with the evolution of this COVID pandemic to consider the emerging research published every day.
So Microbial Cosmologies is an immersive exploration into the future of mobility in a microbe-centric world, where the microbiome defines our identity and our citizenship. The world we created runs on global gut technology, using the energy produced by microbial biofuels. Economies revolve around cultivating a unique human microbiome currency, and synthetic biology is used to govern this microbiopolitical state. Post-pandemic society has embraced artificial evolution and dramatic shifts in urban planning, contactless habitation, biometric monitoring, and co-immunities. We began by creating speculative scenarios, worlds, and diegetic objects that facilitated relationships between humanity and the microorganisms inhabiting the same space. We explored plausible, possible, and probable responses to the issues at hand. These worlds and objects have become less speculative and more real the further the project has developed. At the heart of the project is the resource distribution vehicle. This vehicle connects all assets of the mobility system. While in flight, the vehicle harvests and collects bacteria for research purposes. This is recycled to generate energy to fuel the mobility of citizens, goods, education, and culture.
To move away from fossil fuels, we imagined a living machine powered by microorganisms. So the symbiotic bioengine combines a process of photosynthesis, biohydrogen production through metabolism, and hydrogen electric generation. The engine, which sits in the center of the vehicle's flexible structure, allows each resource distribution vehicle to be self-sufficient. The design of the engine is morphed over time as a result of collaboration with the microorganisms that inhabit it. In the world where the main source of energy is generated by microorganisms, A circular economy makes use of the microbes in our environment and within our own bodies. Gut coin is a currency developed from cultivation of bacteria from our own waste. It allows all community members to create value and wealth through decentralized ecosystem. The face of each coin marks a different pandemic in our history with a visual of a bacteria and dates of its circulation.
So this microbial passport is used to enter the resource distribution vehicle, and it's located within a citizen's personal mask. In our world, the need for physical passports, visas, records of immigration history, and other identification documents is erased. All records of travel are identifiable in a passenger's microbiome data. The microbial passport is reissued every 6 months to reflect the constant shifts in the personal microbiome. So this is a set of artificial microorganisms that are yet to be discovered. They were generated by StyleGAN, a deep learning algorithm that was trained on thousands of images of microorganisms that make up a human microbiome. After training GAN algorithms, we extrapolated the images in latent space. Latent space is a topology of all AI-generated images. It spans 512 dimensions, and this is a vast space for image variation and produces infinite mutations.
So these are the masks that we had designed to represent different communities. From a type of medical supply to a daily necessity, masks have become a symbol of safety, concern, and respect for individuals and communities. Masks are now worn not only as a protective equipment, but also as a symbol of community and belonging.
And then to further visualize our ideas, we used augmented reality as an entry point into our research. With this technology, we can track the movement of the face and analyze the three-dimensional space around us. And then it becomes really easy to break the fourth wall and imagine these objects as a part of your immediate environment. Augmented reality creates a sense of hands-on engagement with a virtual object, its behavior, and its scale. It provides a platform for a person today to experience our speculative world in your own world today, asking questions such as, where would the vehicle drop down in my neighborhood? Or how would I look in this mask? Adaptation and quick reaction has been incredibly important to our ability to work as a team during the COVID-19 health crisis. The project was initially intended to culminate in a final exhibition in Seoul, South Korea, which would obviously no longer be going ahead given the extreme circumstances of the pandemic. We felt our exhibition strategy should reflect this same feeling of urgency and adapt to the current circumstances we were facing. A website and virtual experience of our diegetic prototypes invites the public to have instant access to the body of research digitally, and then reflect on our current situation. In order to bring these objects into a virtual exhibition space, we worked on merging the worlds of industrial design and CAD modeled 3D files into the world of real-time rendering and interactive media. Similar to augmented reality, video game engines are incredibly powerful tools to build immersive worlds. To put it more simply, we blurred the lines between industrial design and animation, inventing our own unique pipeline as we worked.
The pandemic exposed us to the precariousness and entanglement of invisible forces around us, powerful enough to bring countries to a full stop. Our Microbial Cosmologies research group addressed the power dynamic between humans, microbes, and viruses, and rethought what mobility means in the age of pandemic, when distribution of bodies, goods, and information is now carefully choreographed by the invisible microorganisms that move through space with us. And through this portal, we glimpse possibilities of other worlds. We speculate collectively about our future, hopefully a more pluralist future of coexistence between humans and significant others, starting with the virus. Thank you.
Well, this is a very ambitious project. Anastasia, can you tell us something about how it came to be? How did it start, and how did it evolve? Where the idea come from?
Right. So we started in February, and this is when the news about the pandemic started coming in, but we didn't really know the extent of it. But there was definitely a feeling that it would affect our lives, and we would not come out of it the same. So as more news came to life, the more we knew about the pandemic, the more research went into our project. So pretty much every week we would adjust and we would modify things. We would modify our and adapt our methodologies in order to reflect what was happening in real time, and also thinking about how the pandemic might change the world around us. So meaning, like, for example, the microbial passport is something that is coming to life when we have vaccination passports, and that's an idea that we had about a year ago. So it almost became this real-time reflection on what was happening, while also being very speculative and simulating possible futures.
Can you tell us something about your background? I posted in the chat a link to a website where there are some of your previous projects, and some of them are truly wild excursions into biotech, into all sorts of different disciplines. It looks like you have a broad background, I mean, scientific background.
Well, I wouldn't say scientific background. It's more. It comes mainly from an understanding that we do need to merge science with design and art, but there isn't really a blueprint on how to do that. And I think while being in grad school and while being in the research university, that really cultivated a possible collaboration with scientists. So that was definitely a wonderful ground for that work. And mainly it came from, and I think that was in 2017 when CRISPR technology was invented, and when Jennifer Doudna started talking about gene editing as copy and paste, something that a designer really understands, like the language that a designer understands. So it really got me thinking that perhaps the language that we share and some of the techniques are really not that far away. So started thinking about, as a designer, as a graphic designer, we mainly work with print publications and books, and book as a container of information, and thinking about DNA as a container of information, specifically entire world's information can be contained in 1 kilogram of DNA. So it really kind of got me thinking about different commonalities and ways that we can combine design and science.
Very interesting. Now back to this specific project. What is the end goal? Who do you envision as the audience / users?
Does anybody want to, from the team, does anybody want to say that? I would start, one of the main goals is to ignite imagination, because I think this is the most important thing in what we do, is to imagine new worlds, imagine new possibilities, imagine and with it inspire new innovations. So for example, when a client comes in, they expect a final product, but when you bring them something to ignite their imagination, it would hopefully take their innovation in mobility outside of what they had expected. And that was mainly our goal with this project, not necessarily deliver what Hyundai was expecting from us, but really get them, I think the main expectation was to create design that is inspired by nature, but we really pushed them into thinking that not only do we need to be inspired by nature, but we need to find ways of working with nature and creating designs that facilitate that type of collaboration.
The problem is that nature is full of surprises, so it will keep surprising you as you keep. I mean, you can keep evolving the project forever. In fact, you you have a question from Kurt. Have you incorporated variants in your planning?
Have variants? What do you mean by variants?
Like virus
COVID.
variants?
Does anybody want to respond to that?
I think in a lot of ways, this project was designed for the next pandemic, or the fact that pandemics are a part, or viral transmission is a part of our existence now, and that it's something that we have to come to terms with. And so I would say, yes, absolutely, there would be opportunity for new variants just as we evolve and invent. So are viruses doing the same.
I think also in the design of this project, we really thought about it as something that was scalable. Like we've considered the full world, from the smallest microbe to kind of entire city planning, urban planning, neighborhoods, and what you even would wear on your person. So we've made a number of different interventions at different levels. And I think depending on a situation where something like this might be implemented, you could scale it in a number of different ways, and apply the design or the design thinking in a number of different ways.
Yeah, I think this is a really fascinating project. I would love to have an audience also philosophers, because it makes you think about we coexist with ourselves, but we coexist also with all these other organisms, and with all these processes going on, most of which we don't even perceive. We don't, unless a scientist tells us, hey, there's this going on. Okay, I think you have another question. You want to read it yourself?
Yeah, was this project done entirely remote with team members having no in-person contact? Were these moments, were the moments where the team needed to be together? So we had about 5 weeks of in-person meetings, starting from February 17th to March 17th. March 17th is when we went completely online. So we did have 5 weeks of in-person work. And actually this research also continued into the summer, but in a very different format. So yes, we have been working online for over a year now.
Wonderful. Okay. Anastasia, we'll have to have you back, because you have done a lot of things that are really interesting, and it would be nice to have more discussion about these projects, these interdisciplinary projects. Okay, thank you everybody. And yeah, so if anybody in the audience is interested, please check the links. One link she posted, one link I posted, and you will see there's not only fascinating, but really ambitious projects. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.